Welcome back to Alien Agenda with Colonel G. Today, we explore captivating UFO sightings and alien encounters. Hear Miss P's incredible story and get insights from Colonel Gene's best-selling book and upcoming release with stunning web and Hubble images. Experience thrilling accounts from Dennis Kucinich, Fran Drescher, John Lennon, and more, featuring jaw-dropping sightings and spine-tingling abductions. These extraordinary stories will leave you questioning what's out there. Join us as we dive into these fascinating experiences, and if you have your own encounter, contact us to be featured. Stay curious, watch the skies, and enjoy the excitement. Here's Colonel Gene.
Hi folks, this is Colonel Gene from the Alien Agenda with Colonel Gene, and today we're going to look at some additional reportings that have been made by individuals claiming they either saw a UFO or had some sort of alien contact. In most cases, you're going to recognize the names of these people that I talk about today. However, the very first sighting is someone that I know very well and that I totally believe. I will refer to this person as Miss P. One day after talking with her at church, she asked me about my writing. I explained that I was about to begin a podcast to bring information to listeners about UFOs, extraterrestrials, and alien contact. She asked me if I had any direct experience, but I told her no, that I had not personally seen any UFOs or had any alien experiences, but that I had done a sizable amount of research over a number of years looking into what other people claim to have seen. I also told her that I had published a best-selling book called What, If Anything, Is Out There, talking about much of the evidence that has been found. This book has received a lot of attention, and in the summer of 2024, my publisher, Indigo River Publishing in Pensacola, Florida, will release my second UFO book entitled, Are They Out There? This book is also going to contain 16 color pictures from the Webb and Hubble telescopes to give the reader an idea of how vast the universe truly is, and ask the question, could we be the only intelligent life in the enormity of our universe? During the past 3 years, I have read hundreds and hundreds of articles, watched scores of YouTubes, and spent countless hours researching the things that I have found. There is no question. There are things that are fakes. There are reports that I call gray area reports because they contain some kernel of truth, but maybe a little hard to believe. And then there are those sightings and those experiences that are just almost impossible to ignore and deny. None of us will know the whole truth until, when, and if aliens come face to face with us on planet Earth. I do, however, plan to keep looking and will bring what I find to Alien Agenda. Now let's take a look at the one person I know who says she had seen a UFO. Miss P was coming home from a lesson that she gave to a piano student of hers in the spring of 1979. She was on a rural road in New Jersey called Grove Road, which is located in North Vineland. Through her windshield, she saw a saucer-like UFO in the sky. She said she saw lights coming from the craft and was so startled that she pulled over to get a better look. Miss P said it was motionless in the sky, and there was absolutely no sound. She said it just could not be anything like a helicopter, and in a few moments, this craft disappeared at a high rate of speed. Miss P got back in her car, wondering if she should call officials and tell them about what she saw. When she got home, she told her husband, who said it must be an airplane. Miss P said no, it was stationary in the air and then disappeared at a high rate of speed. Miss P has nothing to gain by telling this story, and knowing her as I do, I totally believe that she in fact did see a UFO. In 2007, presidential debate took place at NBC with Tim Russert, and it included Dennison, and he was asked whether or not it was true, as Shirley MacLaine reported in her book that he saw a UFO. Miss MacLaine in her book said that Dennis Kucinich described the craft as a triangle and hovered silently in the sky. Representative acknowledged, yes, that he had in fact observed a UFO in Washington state. He went on to remind Tim Russert that Jimmy Carter had also reported seeing a UFO in Georgia. Representative went on to say, quote, "You have to keep in mind that more people in this country have seen UFOs than I think approve of George Bush's presidency, end quote. This was a little political humor that he injected into the interview on NBC that night with Tim Russett. The issue is, however, he did acknowledge that yes, he too saw a UFO. Fran Drescher in 2011 said she and her ex-husband Mark Jacobson both saw aliens earlier in their lives when they were juniors in high school and before they met. She claimed later in life they were both abducted by aliens and had chips planted in their heads. She claimed that both have a scar in the same place from these operations. Her ex, however, was not convinced of their joint alien abduction and said the scars were from something else. Miss Drescher, however, disagreed with her ex and claimed that the stories about their alien encounters were true. On August the 23rd, 1974, John Lennon claimed when he went out on his balcony in his apartment in New York by the East River for a cigarette, he saw a silent object, cylindrical in nature, in the sky. It was dark in color and surrounded by lights around the rim. It had one pulsating red light on the top. Standing on the balcony, he called his girlfriend, May Pong, to come out. Miss Pong joined him and confirmed seeing the UFO. She said the saucer turned sideways and floated in the sky above the river. It hovered over a building and took off toward Brooklyn. It paused over the Brooklyn Bridge and then flew away. Other people in New York that night confirmed seeing the UFO that was reported by John Lennon and seen by May Pang. Kim Wilde tells of her own encounter with a UFO. She claimed in 2009, after spending an evening with her son in the hospital, saw a mysterious object in the sky above the garden of her house. She saw a light brighter than the moon and brought it to the attention of her husband. They walked down in the grass to take a better look. They saw the object move from about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock very quickly. Then it went back and forth several times without a sound. It was absolutely silent, and no one could understand how an object could move the way it did with no apparent means of propulsion. Olivia Newton-John claimed when she was 15, she saw a UFO fly across the sky at an amazing speed near Cambridge, England. She said in England, many people believe that UFOs are possible. Quote, I definitely saw a UFO, Star of Greece told the Sun newspaper in September 2009. Goldie Hawn recalls sleeping in a friend's car after a rehearsal in West Covina, California, and was awakened by a high-pitched sound. She saw beings with triangular-shaped heads through the windshield. They were silver in color, with a slash for the mouth, a small nose, and no ears. They were pointing at me, she said. It was like they were talking about me. Hawn remembered being frozen and wondered if this was real. Some years later, she was being interviewed by an astrophysicist at an observatory. When she described what took place was like a regression analysis into her past. As her memories were unlocked, she shouted out, quote, they touched my face. It felt like the finger of God. It was the most benevolent, loving feeling. This was powerful. I was filled with light, end quote. There is no doubt that Miss Hawn believed that she, in fact, did have an encounter with aliens that evening. Former Warrior player Baron Davis told the host of the Champs podcast at the end of August 2015 about what he claims was the most amazing experience of his life. Davis believes he was abducted by aliens during a drive from Los Angeles to LA about 2 weeks earlier. I saw a bright light. The next thing, there was a steel thing and some crazy-looking creatures looking down at me. They poked my nose. They looked in my eyes, and my hands were tied down by my side. The next thing I knew, I was driving to LA at 4 a.m. A list of celebrities and others claim to have seen UFOs or had some contact goes on and on. Elvis Presley claimed that from age 8, he had contact with aliens. Elvis claimed on one occasion, an alien showed him a vision of himself performing on stage in a white jumpsuit. Lenny Kilsmer, bass player for Jimi Hendrix, claimed, this thing came over the horizon and stopped dead in the middle of the sky, as reported in Rolling Stones. Quote, they went from a standstill to top speed immediately. We don't have any aircraft that could do that now, never mind then. So that pretty much opened my eyes, end quote. Muhammad Ali claimed that he had been watched by UFOs and said he once saw a UFO mothership in the sky. Robbie Williams claimed he was visited by aliens after he wrote the theme song, Amazon, which was about alien abductions. There is a never-ending litany of famous and ordinary people who claim sighting UFOs or having some contact with aliens. We can all question any one of these accounts. But when you look at the number and the diversity of individuals who claim UFO experiences, it is hard to ignore all of these things. It does beg the question, are they out there? I hope these accounts will help convince you to look further into this subject and watch the skies. Please tell your friends about our podcast, Alien Agenda. We welcome any listeners who actually have had experience or contact with aliens or extraterrestrials to please contact my publicist, Deborah Wallace. We will be happy to have you as a guest. And till the next time, please stay safe. And this is Colonel Gene, signing off.